a prince, a lost toy, or a bear. A journey awaits us somewhere. So come, take my hand to a faraway land where stories and dreams fill the air. In the heart of Thunder Speedway, where engines roared and crowds cheered, lived a bright blue monster truck named Mahid. Mahid wasn't just any monster truck. He had big bouncy wheels, a shiny silver grill, and a heart full of dreams. More than anything, Mahid wanted to be in the Monster Truck Spectacular, where trucks zoomed, flipped, and jumped higher than anyone had ever seen. Every night, Mahid practiced his jumps over old tires. He revved his engine, spun in circles, and even tried a little twist in the air. "I'll be the best monster truck ever," he told his friends, Sparky the race car and Bella the bulldozer. But when the big day finally arrived, Mahid felt nervous. What if I mess up, he worried. What if the crowd laughs at me? His tires felt wobbly. His engine sputtered. His headlights blinked nervously. "You can do it, Mahid," cheered Sparky. Bella gave him a big friendly nudge. "Everyone gets scared, but that doesn't mean you can't shine." Mahid took a deep breath. "I have to be brave." Inside the stadium, the announcer's voice boomed. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Monster Truck Spectacular. First up, Mahid, the mighty monster truck." Mahid rolled up to the ramp. He could feel thousands of eyes watching him. His tires trembled. What if I fail? What if I fall? What if I don't go up high enough? His engine rumbled nervously. Just as he was about to back away, he heard a tiny voice. "Go, Mahid, go!" It was a little fan in the front row, waving a homemade Mahid the Mighty sign. Mahid smiled. "I can do this." With a vroom, Mahid revved his engine and zoomed up the ramp. Higher! Higher! Flip, twist, spin! Mahid flew through the air, spinning like a superstar. The crowd gasped. Would he land safely? Thump! Mahid landed with a perfect bounce. The crowd went wild. Mahid! 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 Mahid couldn't believe it. He had done it. One jump, one flip, one moment of courage, and he was now the star of the show. After the show, Mahid's friends raced up to him. "You were amazing!" Bella cheered. "I knew you could do it," Sparky grinned. The little fan from the front row waved again. "You're my favorite monster truck!" Mahid beeped happily. That night, as Mahid rested in the garage, he smiled to himself. "I was scared," he whispered, "but I was brave anyway." Because sometimes the hardest part of being mighty is believing in yourself. Jake was not a fan of chores. Sweeping the floor? Boring. Making his bed? Takes too long. Washing the dishes? Ugh, too messy. "Why do I have to do all these chores?" Jake grumbled one Saturday morning as he stared at his messy room. Socks were on the floor, books were piled everywhere, and a big heap of toys was spilling out of his toy box. Then an idea popped into his head. A brilliant idea. I'll build a robot to do my chores for me. Jake loved inventing things, you see. He gathered spare parts from his old toy car set, gears from his dad's toolbox, and a few buttons from an old jacket. He worked all afternoon, twisting and tinkering until, beep boop, the robot's eyes blinked to life. Its shiny silver arms wiggled and waggled, and its antenna spun in excitement. I am Chore-Bot 3000, the robot announced in a robotic voice. Jake grinned. Chore-Bot, your mission is to do all my chores. Chore-Bot's eyes flashed green. Understood. Initiating super chore mode. In a blink, Chore-Bot zoomed into action. It swept the floor at lightning speed, folded clothes with a flick of its mechanical arms, and even stacked books in perfect order. Jake lounged on his bed, eating a snack, feeling very pleased with himself. This is amazing, he thought. I'll never have to do chores again. But things started to go a little wrong. First, Chore-Bot decided to wash the dishes, except it used way too much soap. Before Jake could stop it, giant bubbles filled the kitchen, floating everywhere. Uh-oh, Jake said, popping bubbles left and right. Next, Chore-Bot dusted the shelves, but it was too powerful. A gust of air sent everything flying. Books, papers, even Jake's favorite baseball cap. Chore-Bot, stop! Jake shouted. More chores, Chore-Bot beeped, happily zooming around like a whirlwind. Oh no. Then the worst thing happened. Chore-Bot spotted Jake's little dog, Buster, napping on the rug. Thinking he was another mess to clean up, Chore-Bot picked him up with its grabber arms. Beep, beep, must remove clutter. Buster is not clutter, Jake yelled, racing after the runaway robot. He quickly pressed the power off button. Click. Chore-Bot froze, dropping Buster safely onto the floor. The little dog wagged his tail and licked Jake's nose as if to say, Phew, thanks for saving me. Jake sighed, flopping onto the couch. Well, that didn't go as planned. His mother walked in, raising an eyebrow at the messy room, the soapy bubbles, and the frozen robot. Jake, she said, what happened in here? Jake chuckled nervously, scratching his head. Let's just say, doing chores the old-fashioned way might not be so bad after all. His mother smiled, handing him a broom and giving him a pat on the head. Good choice. So, that afternoon, Jake cleaned his room himself, sweeping, organizing, and even washing the dishes, without causing a bubble explosion. And you know what? It wasn't so bad. In fact, when he put on some music and danced around with Buster, it was actually, fun. As for Chore-Bot, well, Jake decided to reprogram it, not to do chores, but to play music and tell jokes instead. How did the robot get across the river? Chore-Bot beeped. Jake laughed. I don't know. How? In a rowboat. Get it? Jake and Buster giggled, knowing that sometimes the best way to get things done is just to do them yourself. Emily loved her garden. It wasn't very big, but to her it felt like a magical kingdom filled with towering trees, colourful flowers, and hidden corners just waiting to be explored. Every day after school, she'd rush outside to play, searching for ladybugs, listening to the buzz of the bees, and talking to the daisies as if they could hear her. But there was one part of the garden that always seemed a little mysterious. The far corner where the old oak tree grew. Its thick branches stretched out like arms, and at its base was a tangle of bushes and ivy that seemed to whisper secrets in the breeze. One afternoon, as Emily skipped toward the tree, she heard something unusual. She stopped in her tracks. "Hello?" she called, peering into the leaves. "Is someone there?" Out from the bushes shot a ball of fluff, no bigger than a teacup, with bright blue eyes, tiny fuzzy ears, and a tail that swished like a feather duster. The creature grinned at her, cheeks dimpled, before sticking out its tongue playfully. Emily gasped. "What are you?" "I'm Pip," the creature chirped, "and you're slow." "Slow? Hey!" Emily laughed, but before she could say more, Pip darted off, his tail wagging behind him. Without thinking, Emily dashed after him, giggling as she chased him round the garden. Pip zipped through flower beds, making petals swirl into the air, and bounced on the garden gnome's hat, causing it to wobble. "Careful," Emily giggled, "you'll knock him over." But Pip was already racing towards the vegetable patch. With a mischievous twinkle in his eyes, he wriggled into the carrots, popping his head out from different spots. "Boo!" he said, making Emily jump and laugh all at once. "You're so cheeky," she gasped between giggles. "I am cheeky," Pip declared proudly, spinning in a circle until he got dizzy and flopped onto the grass. "But I'm fun too." Emily sat beside him, catching her breath. "Where did you come from?" Pip shrugged. "I've been here all along. You just never looked close enough." Emily's eyes widened. "You mean you've always lived in my garden?" "Yup." "Us gigglings," Pip paused. "That's what I am, you know, a giggling, live in the hidden corners of gardens. We play, we giggle, and sometimes we trick." His grin grew even wider. Emily raised an eyebrow. "Trick? Like what?" With a snap of his tiny fingers, the daisies began to spin like little pinwheels, and the leaves on the tree swirled down like soft confetti. Emily clapped her hands. "That's amazing!" "Wait till you see this," Pip said, bouncing up. He scampered to the watering can and tipped it, but instead of water, a rainbow of bubbles poured out, floating up and popping with tiny sparkles. Emily gasped. "Wow, you really are magical." Pip beamed. "Told ya." But just then, there was a thump. Pip had accidentally knocked over a pot of soil, sending dirt spilling everywhere. "Oh no!" Emily exclaimed. "That was Mum's favourite plant." Pip's ears drooped. "Oops, I didn't mean to." "It's okay," Emily said, though she bit her lip. "We just need to clean it up." With a flick of his tail, Pip tried to magic it back, but ended up making the dirt giggle and wiggle away. "Oops, sometimes my magic has a mind of its own." Emily shook her head, laughing. Maybe let's just use the broom, huh? Together, they tidied up. Pip sweeping up with a blade of grass, and Emily with the broom. See, she smiled, playing's fun, but we've got to be careful too. Pip nodded. Got it. No more messy tricks. Well, maybe just tiny ones? His eyes sparkled mischievously. Emily giggled. Deal. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with soft pinks and oranges, Pip sighed. I should go. Night-time's when gigglings rest. Emily felt a pang of sadness. Will I see you again? Of course, Pip grinned. Just come to the bottom of the garden and believe. That's how you find me. She smiled. I'll visit again tomorrow. With a little wave and a poof, Pip vanished into the bushes, leaving behind a faint trail of glittering leaves. That night, as Emily lay in bed, she whispered to the stars, Thank you for the best day ever. And somewhere in the garden, a tiny giggling voice echoed, Best day ever. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, nestled between the rolling hills and sparkling streams, there lived a kind little bunny named Luna. Luna was soft and fluffy, with fur as white as snow, and big gentle eyes that shone like the stars in the sky. But Luna had something very special about her. She loved the moon more than anything else in the world. Every night, when the sun dipped behind the hills and the sky turned dark, Luna would hop, hop, hop to the top of a little hill and gaze up at the moon. It wasn't just any moon. Luna believed that this moon was magical. It was so big and bright, it looked like a glowing pearl in the night sky, casting a soft silver light over everything below. One evening, as Luna sat on her hill and stared up at the moon, she heard a soft voice calling her name. Luna, the voice whispered, come closer, little one. Luna's ears perked up. She looked around, but there was no one there. The voice was gentle, almost like a soft breeze, and it made her feel warm and calm inside. Who's there? Luna asked, her little heart racing with excitement. It's me, the moon, the voice replied, as the moon above her began to glow even brighter. The moon? Luna gasped. You can talk? Yes, Luna, the moon said kindly. I have a special gift for you. If you believe in the magic of the moon, I can show you something truly wonderful. Luna's eyes sparkled with curiosity. She believed in magic, of course. So she nodded eagerly and hopped closer to the moonlight, her little paws soft against the cool grass. Close your eyes, little bunny, and feel the moonlight on your fur, the moon said. Luna did as she was told. She closed her eyes and felt the silver moonlight wrap around her like a warm, soft blanket. Suddenly, she felt light as a feather, as if she were floating on air. When she opened her eyes, Luna couldn't believe what she saw. She was floating high above the village, carried by the moonlight. She could see her cozy little home far below, the trees swaying gently, and the sparkling streams that glittered like ribbons of silver. It was all so beautiful. You are now a part of the moon's magic, Luna, the moon said with a smile. Tonight you can see the world from up here, where everything looks so peaceful and calm. Luna looked around in awe. "It's so beautiful up here," she whispered. "But what should I do now?" The moon's voice was soft and gentle. "You can stay as long as you like, Luna. But remember, the world below is just as beautiful, and there's always magic to be found in the small moments. The quiet rustling of leaves, the soft flutter of butterfly wings, the way the stars twinkle like tiny diamonds in the sky." Luna felt a warmth in her heart as she looked down at her village, at her friends, and at the quiet world below. She realized that the magic she felt up in the sky was always with her, inside her heart, where it would never go away. With a soft giggle, Luna floated back down gently, landing on the hill where she had started. The moonlight slowly faded, but the feeling of magic remained. "Thank you, Moon," Luna whispered. "I'll carry your magic with me always." As she hopped back to her cozy little home, Luna felt more peaceful than ever. The magic of the moon wasn't just in the sky, it was in her heart, and she could feel it every time she looked up at the stars or listened to the rustling of the trees. And from that night on, Luna visited her hill every evening, knowing that even when the moon was hidden behind clouds, its magic would still shine brightly in her heart. Benjamin was no ordinary teddy bear. His soft velvety fur was a warm caramel brown, and his little red bow tie always made him feel just a bit dapper. But what made Benjamin truly special was the love of his best friend, a little girl named Zara. Zara took Benjamin everywhere. They went to the park, read stories together, and shared bedtime snuggles. To Zara, Benjamin wasn't just a toy. He was her brave companion, her secret keeper, and her best friend in the whole wide world. One sunny afternoon at the park, something terrible happened. After a fun day of playing on the swings and watching the ducks in the pond, Zara and her mother packed up their things. In the excitement, no one noticed that Benjamin had slipped out of the picnic blanket and tumbled under a nearby bush. By the time Benjamin opened his button eyes and looked around, the park was quiet. The laughter of the children had faded, and the golden sun was beginning to dip low in the sky. "Oh no," Benjamin whispered, his stitched mouth curling into a worried frown. "Where's Zara? Where did she go?" He sat under the bush, his tiny paws resting on his lap. He waited, hoping Zara would come running back for him. But the minutes stretched on, and no one came. Benjamin shivered, not from the cool evening breeze, but from the loneliness creeping into his soft stuffing. "I can't just sit here," he decided, standing up. "Zara needs me, and I need her." With a determined wiggle of his round ears, Benjamin stepped out from under the bush. Oh, it was scary. The world seemed so much bigger without Zara's hand holding him. But he reminded himself of what Zara always said. "You're my brave bear, Benjamin." Taking a deep breath, or as deep as a teddy bear can, he set off on his journey. Not long after, Benjamin heard a fluttering overhead. Looking up, he spotted an old pigeon perched on a lamppost. The pigeon had a speckled grey chest and wise eyes that seemed to have seen every corner of the park. "Excuse me, Mr. Pigeon," Benjamin called. "Have you seen a little girl with pigtails and a pink jacket? Her name is Zara." pigeon cooed thoughtfully. I did see a girl like that leaving the park with her mother not too long ago. They went that way. He nodded his feathery head toward the winding path. Thank you, Benjamin said, giving a polite bow. Be careful, little bear, the pigeon warned. The park gets dark at night. Benjamin's heart skipped a stitch, but he pushed forward. Brave bear, brave bear, brave bear, he kept reminding himself. As he trotted along the path, the trees whispered with the wind, and the dark shadows stretched. Just as he was starting to feel a little scared, a soft voice piped up beside him. Well, well, what do we have here? It was a chatty squirrel with a bushy tail that seemed almost as big as Benjamin himself. I'm looking for my best friend, Zara, Benjamin explained. She lost me, but I need to find her. The squirrel tilted her head. Oh, that's sweet. I saw some people heading toward the big gate earlier. If you hurry, you might catch them. Benjamin's tiny legs worked as fast as they could, his bow tie flapping with each determined step. Leaves crunched under his feet, and every so often he stumbled, but picked himself up again. Zara needs me, he thought. As he reached the park's big gate, he looked around, but no Zara. His button eyes filled with worry. Had he missed her? What if she had gone home without him? Tears, if teddy bears could cry, welled up inside his little stitched heart. Just then, a soft meow caught his attention. From the shadows stepped a sleek black cat with gentle green eyes. You look lost, little bear, the cat purred. I am, Benjamin sighed. I thought I'd find Zara here, but I don't know where else to look. The cat gave a reassuring smile. Sometimes, when you feel lost, the best thing to do is wait. If Zara loves you as much as I think she does, she'll come looking. Benjamin sat down by the gate, his legs tired and his heart heavy. The cat curled up beside him, keeping him company. The stars began to twinkle in the sky, and Benjamin glanced at them, whispering, Please, please, let Zara find me. And then, Benjamin! Benjamin? His ears perked up. That voice! It was Zara's! Benjamin! Where are you? She called again, her voice filled with worry and hope. Benjamin jumped to his feet. Zara! Zara, I'm here! I'm right here! Of course, Zara couldn't hear his tiny voice, but she could see something. His little red bow tie glinting under the street lamp. Benjamin! Zara cried, rushing over. She scooped him up into her arms, hugging him so tightly that Benjamin thought his stuffing might pop. But oh, how wonderful it felt! I was so scared that I lost you, Zara whispered, her eyes teary. Benjamin snuggled close. I was scared too, he thought, but I found you. With Benjamin held close, Zara walked home under the starlit sky. I promise I'll never lose you again, she said. You're my bestest friend. Oliver was a boy with a big imagination and an even bigger sense of curiosity. He loved exploring the woods behind his grandmother's house, where he would pretend to be an explorer, a knight, or sometimes even a pirate searching for treasure. One afternoon, while chasing a bright blue butterfly, Oliver noticed something odd. A small wooden door nestled between the roots of a giant oak tree. It was no bigger than a garden gate, with swirls carved into the wood and a handle shaped like a peppermint swirl. "That's strange," Oliver whispered, tilting his head. "I've never seen this before." He reached out and gently turned the peppermint handle. The door creaked open, revealing a shimmering tunnel that sparkled with colors like a rainbow. Curiosity bubbling inside him, Oliver took a deep breath and stepped through. What he saw next made his eyes grow wide as saucers. He had entered a land unlike anything he had ever imagined. The trees had trunks made of chocolate and leaves made of cotton candy. Jelly bean flowers sprouted from the ground, and rivers of creamy hot chocolate flowed beside marshmallow pebbles. Overhead, clouds looked like fluffy spun sugar, and the air smelled like fresh baked cookies. Oliver grinned from ear to ear. "This is amazing!" he shouted. As he stepped onto a gummy bear path, a small voice piped up, "Hey, watch where you step!" Oliver looked down to see a tiny marshmallow creature with little candy sprinkle eyes. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Oliver said, quickly stepping back. "No harm done," the marshmallow giggled. "I'm Mallow, by the way, and you must be new here." "I'm Oliver," he said. "Is this really a land made of candy?" Mallow nodded proudly. "Welcome to Sweetopia. Everything here is made of treats. But be careful. It's easy to get lost in all the sweetness." Oliver's eyes sparkled. He couldn't wait to explore. He munched on a candy cane lamppost, just a little nibble, and bounced on a jelly trampoline. Lollipop trees lined the streets, and gummy bear creatures waved as he passed by. "This is like a dream," Oliver laughed. Mallow giggled. "It's fun, but there are places you should avoid. The toffee swamp is super sticky, and the Sour Patch Hills, well, let's just say they live up to their name." But Oliver was too excited to worry. He followed the scent of caramel and soon found himself near a glistening golden lake. "Oh, caramel," he said, leaning over. "Num, num, num." He dipped his finger in for a taste. It was delicious. But as he tried to pull away, uh-oh, his hand was stuck. "Help!" he called, tugging with all his might. Mallow rushed over. "I told you about the toffee swamp." With a grunt, Mallow pulled, and with a pop, Oliver tumbled backward into a pile of marshmallow cushions. Oliver laughed, rubbing his head. "Guess I should have listened, huh?" Mallow grinned. "Yep. Come on, let's stick to the safe parts." They continued exploring, finding a gingerbread castle and meeting the wise old candy cane wizard, who offered Oliver a sparkling sugar crystal. "For courage," the wizard said kindly. As the sky turned a soft pink, Oliver felt a tug in his heart. "This place is incredible, but I think I should get home. Grandma's probably wondering where I am." Mallow nodded. "I'll show you the way back to the door. Sweetopia's fun, but home is special too." They walked past chocolate streams and licorice bridges until they reached the peppermint-handled door. Oliver paused, looking back at the magical land one last time. "Thanks for the adventure, Mallow," he said. "I'll never forget this." "Anytime," Mallow waved. "And remember, too much candy isn't always sweet. Balance, my friend." Oliver chuckled, stepping through the door. In a blink, he was back under the oak tree. the sun setting in warm orange hues. He glanced at his hand, still holding the sugar crystal. Smiling, he tucked it into his pocket and headed home. As he walked up the path, he could almost hear Mallow's voice echoing, "Come back any time, brave explorer." That night, as Oliver lay in bed, he grinned. What a day, he thought, his eyelids growing heavy. And just before he drifted off to sleep, he whispered, "Sweet dreams, Sweetopia." On a crisp autumn morning, Patrick the squirrel woke up feeling excited. Today was the perfect day to admire his most prized possession, his favorite acorn. It wasn't just any acorn. It was the roundest, shiniest, most perfect acorn he had ever found, and he had kept it safe in his cozy little nest high up in the old oak tree. But when Patrick scurried over to his special hiding spot, his tiny paws felt nothing but soft moss and twigs. His acorn was gone! Patrick's fluffy tail twitched with worry. He searched every corner of his nest, checking under leaves, behind twigs, and even in the tiny hollow where he sometimes kept his snacks. But no matter where he looked, his precious acorn was nowhere to be found. "Oh no! Where could it have gone?" Patrick chattered to himself. "I have to find it! I have to find it! I have to find it!" Determined, he scampered down the tree and into the forest to ask his friends for help. First, Patrick visited the wise old owl, perched on his favorite branch. "Mr. Owl, have you seen my acorn? It's round and shiny and very special to me." The owl blinked slowly and ruffled his feathers. I have not seen your acorn, dear Patrick, but have you tried retracing your steps?" Patrick's ears perked up. "That's a great idea, Mr. Owl. Thank you." And off he went, thinking about where he had been the day before. Next, Patrick hopped over to the meadow, where the busy rabbit was gathering carrots. "Rabbit, have you seen my acorn? It's round and shiny and very special to me." Rabbit twitched her nose and shook her head. "No, Patrick, but I'll help you look. Maybe it rolled over into the tall grass." Together they searched the meadow, pushing aside golden leaves and rustling through the grass. But there was no acorn to be found. Patrick sighed and thanked Rabbit before continuing his search. At the edge of the forest, he found his friend Fox playfully chasing his own tail. "Fox," he said, "have you seen my acorn? It's round and shiny and very special to me." Fox grinned. "No, but maybe someone else took it. A mystery. Let's set a trap and see who comes looking for acorns." Patrick giggled. "That's clever, Fox, but I don't think anyone stole it." Fox shrugged and went back to playing, while Patrick hurried along to find Chatty Bird, who always seemed to know what was going on in the forest. Perched on a thin branch, Chatty Bird flapped her wings excitedly when she saw Patrick. "Oh, Patrick, I heard you were looking for something. Is it true? Is it important? Tell me, tell me." "Yes, my acorn. Have you seen it?" Patrick asked hopefully. Chatty Bird tapped her tiny beak. "I did see an acorn rolling down the hill near the big log yesterday. Could it be yours?" Patrick's eyes widened. "That must be it. Thank you, Chatty Bird." With renewed excitement, Patrick dashed toward the big log at the bottom of the hill. He searched between rocks and under fallen leaves, and just when he thought all hope was lost, there it was! His shiny, round acorn was nestled safely beneath a pile of golden leaves. Patrick hugged his acorn close. "I found it," he cheered. As he made his way back to his tree, he realized something important. He had been so focused on finding his acorn that he hadn't noticed how kind his friends had been. Each one had helped in their own way, whether by offering advice, searching with him, or just making him smile. Patrick climbed up to his nest and placed the acorn back in its special spot. Then, with a happy sigh, he curled up in his cozy home, knowing that even though his acorn was special, his friends were the real treasure of the forest. Hello, my dear ones, and welcome to another exciting story with Aunty Sadie. The whole school was buzzing with excitement. It was finally time for the Great School Challenge. Every year, the school held a special competition where different teams had to complete a big task. The winning team got the shiny teamwork trophy and their picture on the school wall. This year's challenge? Build the tallest, strongest tower using only sticks, string, and marshmallows? Lily, Matteo, Ravi, and Sophia were on the same team. They were all excited, except for one tiny problem. They couldn't agree on anything. "We should make a triangle-shaped tower," Lily suggested. "No way! A square is stronger," argued Matteo. "Triangles and squares would be best," Ravi added. Sophia shook her head. "We should just stack them up as high as we can." The timer started. 10 minutes to build! Without a plan, they all started working separately. Lily carefully balanced her triangle sticks on one side. Matteo built his square base on the other. Ravi tried mixing shapes. And Sophia just piled marshmallows on top of each other. But because they weren't working together, boom! The whole tower collapsed. "Oh no," Lily gasped. They had only 5 minutes left. Meanwhile, the other teams were already building strong, tall towers. Ravi groaned. "This isn't working. We're doing everything separately instead of as a team." Sophia frowned. "But I want to do it my way." Matteo sighed. "Maybe we should listen to each other instead of arguing." Lily took a deep breath. Okay, new plan. If we all use our ideas together, we might still have a chance. They huddled up. "We can use my square base," Matteo said. "And my triangle shapes for strength," Lily added. "I'll tie everything together with string," Ravi said. "And I'll balance the marshmallows on top," Sophia grinned. 1 minute left. Working together, they carefully stacked, tied, and balanced. The tower grew taller and taller until, ding, ding, ding! "Time's up," the teacher called. The whole class held their breath. Would their towers stay up? Their tower wobbled, then wobbled, and wibbled and wobbled some more. And then it stood strong! Their team cheered and hugged. After checking all the towers, the teacher announced, "The winners of the teamwork trophy are Lily, Matteo, Ravi, and Sophia." They jumped for joy as the trophy was handed to them. "We couldn't have done it alone," Lily smiled. "Yeah," Ravi agreed. "We needed each other." That day, they didn't just win the trophy, they won the power of teamwork. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to another enchanting story with Aunty Sadie. On a sunny farm, surrounded by rolling hills and chirping birds, there lived a little pygmy goat named Hazel. Hazel wasn't like the other goats on the farm. While they were tall and strong, leaping over rocks and climbing the highest hills with ease, Hazel was small, just a little bundle of soft brown fur with big round eyes that sparkled with curiosity. Every day, Hazel watched as the other goats proudly pranced around, jumping over fences and bounding up the hills without a care. Hazel wanted so badly to join them, to be accepted, to feel just as brave and strong. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't quite keep up. One bright morning, Hazel decided that today would be the day she proved herself. The other goats were standing on the hill, looking out over the farm. Hazel gathered all her courage, took a deep breath, and began to climb the rocky path leading to the top. Her little hooves clinked against the stones as she made her way up, but it wasn't as easy for her as it was for the others. The rocks were slippery, you see, and Hazel's small legs were no match for the tall, steady strides of the bigger goats. She slipped once, twice, and finally tumbled all the way back to the bottom with a soft bleat of surprise. The other goats looked down and giggled. "Come on, Hazel, you're too small to climb like us," one of them teased. Hazel's heart sank. She stood up, dusted herself off, and tried again. This time she tried to leap over a big rock, just like the other goats did. But once again, her tiny legs couldn't carry her high enough. She landed with a thud, and the goats laughed even harder. Hazel's cheeks turned red, and she began to feel smaller than ever. Maybe the others were right. Maybe she just didn't belong on the farm with them. Maybe she would never be as brave or strong as the other goats. Feeling defeated, Hazel wandered away from the hill and into the meadow, where the farm animals were busy going about their day. She sat down beneath a tree, sighing deeply. Just then, a little chick, no bigger than a puffball, came waddling up to her. "Hello, Hazel," the chick chirped. "I'm lost. I can't find my way back to the chicken coop." Hazel looked at the little chick, her heart swelling with sympathy. She had been feeling so small and helpless herself, but here was someone else in need of help. Without thinking, Hazel stood up and smiled. "I'll help you," she said gently. The chick followed Hazel as she led the way through the tall grass, using her small size to her advantage. Hazel squeezed through tiny gaps in the fence, darted around rocks, and slipped between the barns with ease. No other goat could have done what Hazel did. Her smallness made her quick and clever, perfect for sneaking into tight spaces. Before long, they arrived at the chicken coop, where the other chickens clucked happily, welcoming the lost chick back. Hazel felt a warm glow inside her. She had done something special. The other animals on the farm watched in awe. "Well, I'll be," said the wise old sheep, who had been quietly observing from the barn. "Hazel may not be the biggest or the fastest, but she has something none of us can do. She knows how to help when others need it." The goats, who had been watching from the hill, now saw Hazel in a new light. "Hazel," one of them called, "you may be small, but you're just as brave as any of us." Hazel's heart fluttered with joy. She had found her place on the farm, and it wasn't by jumping the highest hills or climbing the tallest rocks. It was by being kind, gentle, and using her unique talents to help others. From that day on, Hazel was no longer the shy little goat who tried to fit in. She embraced her size and her special abilities, and the other animals learned to appreciate her for exactly who she was. And so, Hazel's days were filled with new adventures, helping the other animals in ways no one else could, proving that even the smallest creatures have the biggest hearts. Hello, my dear ones, and welcome to another heartwarming story with Aunty Sadie. Emma loved her teddy bear. His name was Bruno, and he had the softest fur, the squishiest belly, and the kindest little face. But what made Bruno truly special was something magical. He changed color depending on how Emma felt. If Emma was happy, Bruno turned a bright sunny yellow. When she felt calm, he became a soothing blue. If she was scared, his fur would turn a soft, comforting green. And when Emma felt angry, well, Bruno would turn as red as a juicy apple. Emma didn't know how the magic worked. Bruno had just been that way since the day she had received him from her grandmother. "He'll help you understand your feelings, sweetheart," Grandma had said with a knowing smile. One morning, Emma woke up feeling excited. It was her birthday. As she hugged Bruno, he turned a cheerful yellow, sparkling in the morning light. "Today's going to be the best day," she grinned, bouncing out of the bed. And at first, it was. There were balloons, pancakes shaped like hearts, and even a treasure hunt her parents had set up in the garden. But later that afternoon, when her friends came over for the party, something happened that Emma wasn't prepared for. Her best friend, Mia, accidentally knocked over Emma's brand new birthday present, a beautiful unicorn puzzle. Pieces scattered everywhere, some even falling into the juice cups on the table. Emma's face scrunched up. Her chest felt tight, and before she knew it, she was yelling, "Mia, look what you did! That was my favorite present." Mia's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." Emma felt her cheeks burn. She looked down at Bruno in her arms. His fur had turned a fiery red. Her anger reflected right there in his fuzzy little face. Taking a deep breath, Emma hugged Bruno tightly. The warmth of his soft fur and his red glow made her pause. "Why am I so angry?" she thought. "It was just an accident." Her mom knelt beside her. "It's okay to feel upset, sweetie," she said gently. "But let's think. Did Mia mean to knock it over?" Emma shook her head. Slowly, her racing heart began to calm. Bruno's red fur shifted into a soft blue. "I'm sorry, Mia," Emma whispered. "I shouldn't have yelled." Mia wiped her eyes and smiled. "It's okay. I'll help you pick up the pieces." Together, they cleaned up the mess, and soon enough, laughter filled the room again. Bruno's fur glowed bright yellow once more. Later that evening, after the party was over and Emma lay in bed with Bruno tucked up under her chin, she whispered, "You really do help me understand my feelings, don't you?" Bruno, of course, didn't speak, but his soft fur warmed against her cheek, turning a peaceful lavender, a mix of calm and happiness. The next day, at school, Emma felt nervous about her class presentation. Her tummy had butterflies and her hands felt sweaty. Bruno, peeking out from her backpack, shimmered a gentle green. Emma remembered what her mum always said. Take a deep breath and know you can do it. Holding Bruno's little paw, she inhaled deeply, and as she walked up to the front of the class, her nerves eased. Bruno's colours shifted to a supportive blue, and by the time she finished, he was glowing yellow again. Days turned into weeks, and Emma began to notice how her feelings changed in different situations, and how Bruno's colours always matched them. If she felt left out on the playground, Bruno turned grey. When her brother shared his toys, Bruno glowed orange, full of warmth and friendship. One evening, as rain pattered softly against the windows, Emma cuddled up in her blanket fort, Bruno in her arms. "I think I get it now," she murmured. "It's okay to feel angry or sad or scared, but understanding why I feel that way helps me figure out what to do next." Bruno glowed a beautiful rainbow of colours, shimmering softly in the cosy fort. "I love you, Bruno," she whispered, and as she drifted off to sleep, Bruno settled into a gentle pink hue, filled with love, kindness, and peace. Leo had so many toys. He had building blocks that reached the ceiling, soft cuddly teddies, shiny cars that zoomed across the floor, and even a talking robot that made funny noises. His room was a treasure trove of fun, and he loved every single one. But there was one problem. Leo did not like to share. When his little sister Mia wanted to play with his teddy bear, he hugged it tight and said, "No, it's mine." When his cousin Max visited and asked to try his new race car, Leo shook his head. "No way, it's too special." Even when his best friend Sam wanted to build a tower with his blocks, Leo scooped them up and turned away. "I'm playing alone." One afternoon, Leo's mother had a surprise. "Leo, today we're having a play date at the park. All your friends will be there." Leo was excited. He packed his favourite toys, his race car, his action figures, and his bouncing ball. But as they arrived at the park, something unexpected happened. All the other children were playing together, but no one wanted to play with Leo. Mia and Max were giggling as they built a sandcastle. Sam was playing with a group of kids, taking turns on the swings. Even the new boy, Oliver, was sharing his toy dinosaurs with a few children, roaring and laughing. Leo sat on a bench, gripping his race car, feeling a little left out. He had brought all his amazing toys, so why was he sitting alone? Just then, he heard a small voice beside him. "Hi, Leo." It was Oliver, the new boy. "Your race car looks really cool," Oliver said. "Want to play together?" Leo hesitated. He had never shared his race car before. But he glanced at Oliver's smiling face, then at the happy children playing together. Maybe sharing isn't so bad. Slowly, Leo held out the car. "Okay, but let's take turns." Oliver's face lit up. "Awesome!" He gave Leo one of his toy dinosaurs. "You can play with this while I take a turn." And just like that, Leo discovered the magic of sharing. Soon, other children joined them. Mia brought over a teddy bear, Sam grabbed some blocks, and before Leo knew it, they were all playing together. For the first time, Leo wasn't just playing with his toys, he was playing with his friends, and it was so much more fun. As the sun began to set, Leo packed up his toys, feeling warm and happy inside. He turned to Oliver and said, "That was the best playdate ever." Oliver grinned, "Because we shared." That night, as Leo snuggled into bed, he hugged his teddy bear and whispered, "Sharing makes everything better." And with that, he drifted off into a peaceful, happy sleep. In the heart of an enchanted forest, where the trees whispered secrets and the rivers hummed lullabies, there lived a tiny fairy named Luna. Luna loved flying through the meadows, dancing with butterflies, and twirling in the raindrops after a summer storm. But most of all, Luna dreamed of growing a garden full of the most colourful flowers in the world. One morning, the Fairy Queen called Luna to her shimmering throne. "Luna," she said kindly, "I have a special task for you. Here are some magic seeds." Luna's wings fluttered with excitement as the Queen placed a handful of dull grey seeds into her tiny hands. "These," the Queen continued, "are rainbow seeds. If you plant them, they will bloom into the most beautiful, colourful flowers. But there's a secret to making them grow." Luna gasped, "What is the secret, Your Majesty?" The Fairy Queen smiled. "You must figure that out on your own." Luna nodded determinedly. "I won't let you down." She flew to an open field and carefully planted the seeds in the soft earth. Then she waited and waited, but nothing happened. Luna thought, tapping her chin. "Maybe they need more water." She carried tiny raindrops over and sprinkled them on the seeds. But still, nothing happened. She tried sunshine. She tried singing to them. She even tried wiggling her nose at them like the old garden gnomes did. But the seeds remained grey and dull. Feeling frustrated, Luna flopped onto a mushroom. "What am I doing wrong?" Just then, an old turtle waddled by. "What's wrong, little fairy?" "I can't figure out how to make my rainbow seeds grow," Luna sighed. The turtle chuckled. "Maybe they just need a little kindness?" Luna blinked. "Kindness?" The turtle nodded. "Try using polite words." Luna thought for a moment. Then she fluttered back to her garden and with a deep breath whispered to the seeds, "Please, please grow into beautiful flowers." Suddenly, a tiny spark of colour appeared. Luna gasped. "It's working!" She tried again. "Thank you, little seeds, for growing for me." Whoosh! The dull grey seeds shimmered, and sprouts of bright blue and golden yellow began to push through the soil. Luna clapped her hands in delight. "Good manners make them grow." She danced around the garden, speaking gently to each one. "Please grow tall and strong. Thank you for your beauty." And with each kind word, the garden blossomed into a stunning rainbow of colours. Roses as red as rubies, daffodils as golden as the sun, and violets as deep as the evening sky. The Fairy Queen arrived, smiling at Luna's magical garden. "You discovered the secret, Luna. Good manners make the world more beautiful." Luna beamed with pride, watching her rainbow flowers sway in the breeze. From that day on, every fairy in the forest used their please and thank yous, knowing that kindness could bring magic to everything they touched. And if you ever see a rainbow garden, you just might hear the gentle whispers of fairies saying, "Please grow, thank you, please bloom, thank you." In the middle of a cheerful village, where children played and birds sang, lived a very special dragon named Dazzle. Dazzle wasn't like other dragons. He didn't breathe fire, and he didn't scare people. Instead, Dazzle was a toy-making dragon. Every day, he sat in the village square, using his sparkly magic breath to create toys for the children. With a poof, he'd make teddy bears. With a zap, he'd make bouncy balls. And with a whiz, he'd make toy trains that really went chug, 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 chug. But one morning, something very strange happened. Dazzle let out a tiny hic, and poof, zoom, whiz, toys flew into the air and landed everywhere. A teddy bear got stuck in a tree. A toy rocket zoomed into a fountain. A rubber duck bounced right onto Grandma Mabel's hat. "Oh no," Dazzle gasped. "I have hiccups!" And every time he hiccuped, boom, more toys shot out in every direction. The children giggled at first, but then they saw that Dazzle looked worried. "I don't want to make a mess," he sniffled. "I just wanted to make toys for everyone." Little Mia ran up and held his big dragon paw. "It's okay, Dazzle. We'll help you." The children raced around the village, picking up all the flying toys. Ben climbed a tree to get the teddy bear. Lena scooped the rocket from the fountain. And Jack carefully took the rubber duck off Grandma Mabel's head. But Dazzle's hiccups wouldn't stop. Hic! Poof! A dozen marbles rolled away. Hic! Zap! A kite tangled in the washing line. The children huddled together. "How do we stop Hiccups?" Ben asked. "We could scare him," Lena suggested. Jack shook his head. "Dazzle's a dragon. What would scare him?" Mia thought hard. "I remember my grandma says drinking water backwards helps." Everyone blinked. How does a dragon drink backwards? Dazzle tried gulping from a bucket, but he sneezed bubbles. He tried holding his breath, but his wings flapped in surprise. He even tried standing on one foot, but dragons have 4 feet, so that didn't work at all. Then Lena had an idea. "My mom says laughing helps cure hiccups." So the children told their best jokes. "What's a dragon's favorite snack?" asked Ben. "I don't know," Dazzle hiccuped. "Firecrackers!" Dazzle giggled. Lena tried next. "What do you call a dragon that loves cooking?" "I don't know." "A grill master!" Dazzle giggled louder. Jack took a deep breath. "Okay, this one's extra silly. Why did the dragon bring a suitcase to the party?" "I don't know." "Because he wanted to have a blast!" Dazzle burst into laughter. And just like that, his hiccups were gone. The whole village cheered. Dazzle beamed. "Thank you for helping me, everyone." Mia grinned. That's what friends do. From that day on, Dazzle always remembered, helping others makes the world a little brighter. And if he ever got hiccups again, well, at least he knew where to find the best jokes. And that, my dear ones, was the story of the friendly dragon's Hiccups. Isn't it wonderful how kindness and teamwork can solve even the silliest problems? And remember, the best way to help a friend is just to be there when they need you. If you enjoyed our adventure, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. And if you'd like more magical stories, be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. Until next time, my darlings, stay kind, stay helpful, and always keep laughing. Big hugs, and bye-bye for now.